Good evening to those who will listen. It is April 1st, 2018, 7:43 p.m. Happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day. Here's a story about from Israeli News, ILTV News, about the protests and the rioting in the Gaza Strip, and the blame game goes on between both, but there's truth in the fact that the Palestinians were actually lying and manipulating the truth of things to serve their purpose. Here's the stories. There's actually two stories back to back.
There's been horrific violence along the Gaza border this weekend. Tens of thousands of Palestinian protesters have begun a 6-week demonstration that has quickly erupted into violence. IDF troops along the border have responded with force and even live fire in some cases, now that it's clear that much of this protest was merely a smokescreen for Hamas bloodshed.
What we've seen over the last 24 hours is anything other than a peaceful protest. What we've seen is a violent riot in its clearest form.
Though the terror group initially summoned the protest as a peaceful sit-in, the mob quickly turned lethal Friday afternoon, beginning what the Palestinians say will be a 6-week protest. Rioters hurled Molotov cocktails and in one case opened gunfire on IDF troops stationed at the border. Tire fires, rock hurling, and attempts to either destroy or damage the security barrier also escalated the conflict.
هذه المسيرة كما أعلن عنها القائمون من القوى والفصائل وكل مكونات الشعب الفلسطيني مسيرة سلمية حضارية توجه للعالم أجمع رسالة أنه كفى للظلم وكفى للجوع وكفى للاحتلال وكفى للحصار.
At this time, over 1,000 Palestinians have been injured in those clashes, and 16 Palestinians have been reported killed. Despite accusations of excessive force on Israel's behalf, the army has actually identified at least 10 of those 16 casualties as Hamas soldiers, a number at least partially confirmed by Hamas itself. After holding funerals for a number of the deceased, Palestinian Authority President Abbas called the day a day of mourning for the Palestinian people. The protests continued into the next day, though with diminished numbers. But the flames of war have obviously been fanned. Mere hours ago, a Palestinian man was arrested infiltrating Israel from the Gaza Strip. Israel has just confirmed it is in possession of 2 bodies of Gazans who were killed in these violent clashes. The dust is still only beginning to settle from this weekend's bloodshed, which saw some of the worst clashes between Israel and the Palestinians in years. And as can be imagined, the accusations are already flying over who's to blame for the violence. Israel has slammed Hamas for setting the stage for warfare from the get-go by conducting its largest ever live fire drill mere days before the rally. But the Palestinians say Israel is fully responsible for the deaths of 16 Palestinians.
وأمام هذا الحدث الجلل أحمل سلطات الاحتلال الإسرائيلية المسؤولية الكاملة عن أرواح الشهداء الذين ارتقوا اليوم بنيران جيش الاحتلال في مواجهة المظاهرات السلمية الشعبية التي خرجت لإحياء هذه الذكرى وللتمسك بحقها في تقرير المصير كباقي شعوب العالم.
Hamas has released video footage that seems to depict an 18-year-old protester retreating from the Gaza front lines, apparently being shot in the back by an IDF bullet. Israel has accused Hamas of manipulating their video footage and has also released army surveillance footage of Palestinian militants pulling the first trigger on Israeli troops. Furthermore, most Israeli officials agree that Hamas's call for a peaceful sit-in during this weekend's protest is a blatant cover for violence targeted right at Israelis. The IDF has identified at least 10 of the 16 Palestinians killed in the clashes as Hamas militants, a number at least partially confirmed by the terror group publicly.
هناك اعتصامات وأعمال شغب عنيفة تصدى لها جيش الدفاع الإسرائيلي من خلال وسائل تفريق المظاهرات، وعند محاولة بعض الأشخاص المحرضين من الوصول إلى الجدار الأمني وخرق السيادة الإسرائيلية وتسلل إلى الأراضي الإسرائيلية أو المساس بالبنية التحتية الأمنية أي الجدار الأمني، فتم استهدافهم من قبل قوات الجيش الدفاع الإسرائيلي.
Despite these affronts, much of the international community questions Israel's use of lethal force in response to the clashes. The United States has just used its veto power to quash a UN resolution demanding an investigation into the deaths and seemingly blaming Israel for the aggression. While some Israeli Knesset members do think an investigation is warranted and that violence should be a last resort only, the IDF...
What happened? I lost my story. Hold on.
IDF says it will act with appropriate force only in cases when national security is at stake. While some are now...
So, before anybody should take sides in this, should probably, know all the facts. I've had lots of people on both sides of this. And again, I say, pray to Jesus for the truth, for the answers. But as I see it, I see Israeli just trying to protect themselves. They're staying behind the border. They're not shooting anything until the Palestinians or Hamas, whoever is trying to get past the security fence into Israeli territory. Again, I say all they should do, if this was a peaceful protest, why aren't they staying back? Why do they have to go anywhere near the fence? If it's peaceful protesting, they should just stay back and have their protests. This only escalated because they were trying to cross through that fence, cross into Israeli territory, or they were stirring up protests, or they were actually firing on Israeli soldiers. So, it might seem like I'm taking sides, but I'm just going by what God says. What God says in the Bible. God says the Jews is the chosen people. Israel is the chosen land. A lot of people say that Israel is fake. Fake Israel. That Israel is actually in people's hearts. I don't know. That's kind of strange to me. But I just go by what's in the Bible. Israel is in the Middle East. It's a piece of land in the Middle East. It's there. That's how I consider Israel. I can't consider Israel something else when I know that that's the actual land. And this is the land that was returned back to the Jews. It says that in the Bible. It says that we're in the last days when we see these things, when we see the fulfillment of Bible prophecy, the return of Jerusalem. We're talking 70 years, May 14th. And now I'm seeing all these reports saying it's the 15th of May. What happened? It's been May 14th for all this time until this last week, and now they're trying to say it's May 15th. But anyway, that's when the Palestinians are saying they're protesting until May 15th. I don't know the whole thing about all the land and everything. I mean, I know Israel has given back a lot of land to the Palestinians already. And they're willing to give up a lot more land for the peace deal. But Abbas doesn't want to give up the capital. And the capital the capital of Israel is Jerusalem, and it's their undivided capital. It says that in the Bible. I go by the Bible. I believe the Bible is 100% true, and I have to go by that. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's been rewritten, translated so many times. Yes, that's true, but we got to go by something. And if we go by what the Bible says, we have to believe in our hearts that that's what is true. And if it wasn't true, I think God would fix it some way. The Bible has withstood thousands and thousands of years. I just believe what the Bible is, and I believe what God and Jesus says in the Bible. So that's what I go by. I just go by Israel being the chosen land, and the Jews are the chosen people. Who the Jews are exactly? I mean, now I hear all this about false Jews. I don't know. That's for God to decide. God will be the judge of who is true and who is not. And I say to everyone out there, God knows your heart. God knows everybody's heart. So that's up to God to judge everything. Let God judge. So please have an open heart. I just believe this is part of Bible prophecy. I know some people that are on the Palestinian side of things will argue this and fight and argue, and just seek Jesus on this. That's the only thing I can say. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. God bless.